Hello there, and welcome to my very first podcast. I want to start this off by saying thank you so much for being interested enough to tune in and listen to me talk about all sorts of things. This podcast won't just have one subject that I'll discuss. It'll be something different every time. That way it'll hopefully be interesting to you as an audience, but also for me. Now, to start this off, I got a lot of cool suggestions from you guys, what you want to know about me or stuff that I should talk about, name suggestions and lots more stuff. So I thought I'd start this off with my name that I'll be using for this podcast. Well, my name is Selena, obviously. But the podcast will be called Adventures and More. If you haven't seen that on the title already, I got some more cool names that I just quickly want to go through. So I've got one that was really creative as well, Quinspiration, which I really like a lot as well. I got Canned Broccoli for some reason. Didn't really have a big connection to that one, so yeah. But thanks for the suggestion. I also got one that says Quintessential. I really like that one. And one of my best friends who suggested Snuckle Struggle with Selena. I really like that one a lot. It was a close runner-up, but I just felt like Adventures and More is a bit more open to what is going to happen on this podcast in the future. So yeah, first of all, if I do make English mistakes, I do apologize in advance. I use this tool for me as well to be able to learn and improve my English, since English isn't my native language, but I connect to the language a lot more. I felt only right recording this in English, and I do hope I get some English listeners anyway. So before I introduce myself a bit more to you guys, I want to talk about what you're gonna hear on this channel. Partially, obviously, it will be about my passion, which is cosplay. Stories from conventions, people I met, just actors I met as well. We can talk about that as well, because I got some funny stories about that. Some show rundowns I want to do in the future as well, because I do watch a lot of movies and TV shows, so I guess it could be cool if people are interested, obviously, and I feel like it to talk about that sort of stuff as well. I also want to talk a bit about my future, my past, stuff I've experienced in general, what I've been through, and just that sort of stuff, I guess. Now I would like to quickly to introduce myself. As I said before, my name is Selena. My second name is Melanie, which I don't really use, but there you go, bit of intel there. I am 23 years old, born in December 11th. I work here in Zurich in our local zoo as a pastry chef. I've been doing pastry or confectionery for about 7 years now. Yeah, God, it's been that long already. Time flies, I guess. I live alone. I have a small apartment that I share with all my geek stuff. To anyone who knows me and has been to my place knows how much stuff I've got and what I also still want to get in the future. Yeah, to my hobbies, I cosplay. Constantly am doing new cosplays. For the most part, I do order my cosplays, which I'm not ashamed to say. I sometimes make props myself or just try to upgrade cosplays if I can and able to. But that is certainly a big part of my life. I really hope that we're able to attend conventions and do photo shoots and stuff like that this year again, because I really hate being apart from all my friends and those good times. I also draw a lot. Well, if I'm motivated, let's put it that way. I love to draw portraits, but I recently started to draw on canvases and draw with acrylic paint. I'm still getting the hang of that. over time, I also like to sing sometimes. One of the reasons I actually got a microphone is to sing and record, which I want to do in the future, but for now I'm settling with podcast. I love to inline skate. I recently picked it up again, so just waiting for better weather, better conditions so I can be out a bit more again. And obviously I love to binge watch all kinds of series and movies. We can get into that some other time as well, since like I said before, I've watched a lot. I'd also love to talk about some of the suggestions I've got. Some of them I will answer now, and some of them I think are too big of a topic to just talk about in my first podcast, so I'll save that one, all those few things, up for another time. So one of the things is travels and life in England. Some of you may know that I did live in the UK for 2 years, from 2017 to 2019 roughly. Great experience. It was life-changing, and I don't just say that because it was living abroad the dream or something. I just learned a lot about myself, figured out some stuff, had some really cool experiences as well, and quite frankly, I improved my English during that time that I lived there. But I think that is also a subject that we could talk about. I could talk about on a later episode. Another thing I also got was how I started to cosplay. There's a short story, long story. I had some friends during my apprenticeship that always suggested I should start. Didn't know how, wasn't really motivated. That at that time I just didn't really see the appeal. That was about 6 years ago, if I remember correctly. And a good friend, co-worker from my apprenticeship, he dragged me to a convention. It was a really, really small one. I didn't really have a cosplay at the time, so I was just bummed, and he told me that I was only allowed to go with him to the event if I dressed up. Me not having a cosplay, I asked my friends who already were a bit into cosplay what I could do, wear and stuff. And yeah, quite frankly, we came up with anime schoolgirl. I've never watched an anime in my life, but at that time it was the only thing I could wear. So I went to my very first convention as an anime girl. So that was kind of how I started. After that event, I've met cool people. I met a really, really cool Jack Sparrow cosplayer, actually, that scared the life out of me, because he just stood behind me. At the time I was, and I still am to be fair, quite big Pirates of the Caribbean fan. And yeah, I was in a shop, and when I turned around, he literally stood behind me, and for a second I genuinely thought Jack Sparrow stood behind me, and I was absolutely shook how people could dress up and just look like a character, and the details and stuff really impressed me on a whole different level. And after that I really got intrigued, so my friend and I ordered our first cosplays. He ordered a Joker cosplay, and I ordered Harley Quinn, the one that most people know me from, or know me as. Yeah, and the rest is pretty much history. I went to a bigger convention a few months or even half a year later, I guess, dressed as Harley Quinn. I was scared shitless. Sorry, my language. And yeah, I had such a good time that after that I knew that I wanted to keep continuing to cosplay. Didn't really have the time or money at that time though. But as soon as I finished my apprenticeship and moved to England, that's when I actually started to spend more time, money, and everything on cosplay. Yeah. So during that time that I lived in England, I think I did at least, about 6 or 7 new cosplays. Yeah, that seems about right. It's been a wild ride during that time in England. So yeah, so much of that. I can later on talk a bit more about my cosplay experience as well. I also got a suggestion of someone that wanted animal facts. Sounds really cool. I might just like sometimes drop in some facts, whether they're animal facts or just random facts in general. I think that'd be a cool thing as well to do, like at the end of the episode or something like that. Another one is anything and everything, which I'm gonna be doing anyway, so yeah, I think we're good on that. Favorite Disney moments, that will definitely be something I will get into eventually, because Disney is quite a huge part of my life. So that'll definitely be one big topic on one of my future episodes. Also have my hobbies and stuff I want to try in the future. Kind of covered that one already with the hobbies, and stuff I want to try in the future I will definitely talk about later on. How I feel while I'm in cosplay is a really interesting question, and I've given it quite some time to think about actually, because I have learned so much and I've experienced a lot of things during cosplay, whether it's conventions or photo shoots, to be fair. It makes you feel like you're in a different world. You can just dive into a whole different, in a different world. You get to be someone you're usually not. You can just be someone else for a bit, whether I think, best example would be Harley Quinn, since she used to be quite the complete opposite from the person that I was. She is absolutely bollocks, crazy nuts, loud, jumps around and everything. And yeah, like to be able to take over that role when you're usually not like that is something quite special, especially when you're out there on conventions and you're with your friends who obviously know who you are, but then there's different people coming up to you and not talking to you as example, as Selena, rather than Harley Quinn, so they will approach you as you being Harley Quinn, which I think is quite a cool thing to be able to do, and to see the smiles on people's faces, or kids. My god, I have some really cool kid stories and just cosplay convention stories in general that I want to talk about. But that is always something that makes me feel so good, and I haven't been to a convention for ages. Well, I went to a really, really small one last year, but I don't really count that one because it was mainly just friends hanging out and a group of us, Star Wars cosplayers, which was fun. It was 5 of us. We walked through the city of Bern in Switzerland, and it was quite funny because the people were staring at us, really confused because they did not get what we were doing. And since there were some protesters because of COVID and because they didn't want to wear masks and stuff, they thought we were part of that and we were like conspiracy theorists. So yeah, that was a really funny experience. But in general, to come back to the question, it just makes me feel good about myself. It makes me feel happy, whole. I just feel at home when I cosplay. I love to act. That would be a thing I'd also love to do in the future, actually, to be able to act a bit. So yeah, I guess that is like one of the main things. It makes me feel so happy about myself, and to be able to see smiles on people's faces, that always makes my day. Yeah, before I get too much into that, the last one I've got was conspiracy theories. Also a really interesting one. I will definitely consider doing an episode on that one because there's a lot of theories out there. I've talked to my best friend too about a few of them actually, and yeah, maybe we could in the future even do an episode together. Like, that is also the goal, that maybe sometime in the future I'll be able to do podcasts with different people, have guests on here where we just talk about whatever we feel like talking about, whether it's TV series, whether it's cosplay, theories, whatever. I'm open to everything. But yeah, for now, I think I will be sticking, at least in the beginning, I'll be sticking to a bit of cosplay stories, convention stories. Definitely my travels to England, because that was, like I said before, a big part. And stories about my friends, I guess. Stories where I've been with them. Disney stories. Yeah, I've got a lot to talk about, actually. Yeah, I just also wanna take the time on here to talk about personal stuff that I've been through, that I know maybe some of you have been going through, since obviously during Corona and all of that bullshit, it hasn't been easy for all of us. Yeah, so there will definitely be some more sincere, more emotional episodes out there in the future, because I do think that is a topic that should be talked about, whether it's things that I've been through and what I've learned. I just want to spread awareness, spread positivity, and just want to spread the message of you guys not being alone, because that is one of the things that I always have to keep telling myself as well. You are not alone on this planet. And I guess that is also a small part of why I'm doing this podcast. I'm mainly doing it for me. So if you're not listening anymore, I do not blame you in the slightest bit. I guess it can get a bit boring. But I'm just doing it for myself, because I want to look at or listen to these podcasts sometime in the future and just go back and see how much I've changed, or have reminders for myself that it'll be better, or that things actually got better. Yeah, and I guess that is gonna be one of the big things that I'll be focusing on here as well. But for now, I guess I'm done talking about all kinds of things. Next episode, it will be a bit more one topic and not just everything and anything and everything. And I just wanted to kind of warm up a bit as well, because I'm usually not really good just talking to myself. I do that sometimes. No shame there. But I just, never really done anything like that, and I really want to put myself out there. I want to do new things, experience new things, and a good friend of mine actually inspired me, because he recently started his own podcast in German. I can talk about that as well in the future, because he does some really cool stuff. He goes through a lot of important topics. So if you are German, and you do listen to this, and no, this is not a paid advertisement, go check out Booty for Everyone by Isaac. He is a really dear friend of mine, and yeah, he is a bit of an inspiration to start this. So thank you so much, guys, for listening to my very first podcast. I'm really happy that I've got through with this. I did it. I am happy. Now I just have to, future note to myself, edit all of this, which I still have to figure out, and how to upload it. And hopefully I haven't bored you too much with my rambling, mambling, whatever. See, English slipping up right there. Not ashamed of it. I'm still learning. I'm a human being. And you guys take care. I love you guys. If you stuck out and listened to the end, I'm really happy about that. If you have any suggestions, if you just want to have me talk about something more specifically, please do message me on Instagram. That would mean a lot to me. Alright? Until then, I'll see you, or hear you, or talk to you in the next episode. Take care. Bye-bye!